Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at Zeraora V, Zeraora VSTAR, and Zeraora VMAX. You see, we had listings a little while ago for Zeraora VMAX and VSTAR deck. And I told you guys that I didn't know what this was, and it wasn't 100% clear. Was it going to have a VMAX and a VSTAR? Was it going to have some weird card that was a hybrid of both VMAX and VSTAR? What was going on? Well, Occam's razor says that the simplest explanation is often the right one, and that is exactly what the case is here. It's called Zeraora High Class Deck VMAX and VSTAR, or VSTAR and VMAX, and it has Zeraora VSTAR and Zeraora VMAX all in one handy deck. Once again, I have entered the lottery to try and buy this at the Pokémon Center Japan. Once again, I expect to not be successful, but fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, because I want this. I like Zeraora, he's cool. And he's got a VSTAR and a VMAX. This is something which I like very much indeed. Are the cards any good? Well, the lovely news is that our good friend, the lovely Antoine Boulet, has gone and translated them. So if we start off with Zeraora V, we got 210 HP, which is slightly on the low side. 210 is what we want from Pokemon V. 2 energy, 50 damage, nobody cares. 3 energy, 190. You can't attack next turn. Actually, I'll be honest with you, I did a little bit of translation for this myself, like this one. This one I could do. Yeah, I don't really love this. I mean, look, here's the deal. You whack a choice bout on there, and all of a sudden you're doing 220, and that's enough to get a one-hit KO on Pokemon V. Simple as that. And I like it. That's cool. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. You got to get the free energy on there. Obviously, Flaffy is a nice option, and the deck does include Flaffy for what it's worth. You know, check out artwork, who doesn't love it? Incidentally, I believe this deck has a hollow Flaffy, the kind of which we haven't seen before. I could be wrong about that. I believe it's a new style of that Flaffy. So my Okacheke collection tells me I need to get this Flaffy. Look how beautiful it is. So yeah, I need to get me this Flaffy. It's why I need to win the lottery for this deck. And if I only win one of the lotteries for this Anadeoxys deck, it needs to be this one that I win. I like this. It's cool. So yeah, Flaffy, it's coming back. Hopefully that will get the energy on. There are other ways, but that's a nice way to do it. Basically, what I can say about this card is you whack a choice bout, one-hit KO Pokemon V, it's not terrible. Now, Zeraora VMAX goes up to 320 HP, which is about standard. 2 lightning energy, 60 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play that has an ability. And this is a kind of attack which is not always going to work. It's not always going to be good. But oh my goodness, this will be phenomenal against some decks. I mean, if your opponent plays 6 Pokemon with abilities, that's 360 damage. Now, that's also ludicrous. You don't need to do that much damage. What you're really looking at here is 5. 5 is 300 damage, which gets VSTAR, and with a choice bout, we'll get most VMAXs. That's what you're looking at here. And it's not always going to work, but it will work against some decks. It just depends. The other thing this is going to do quite nicely is it's going to make your opponent go, ha 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 ha, I'm just going to play Pokemon with fewer abilities to hurt you. I want to play this Pokemon with an ability, but I'm not going to slow you down. And I've said this many times. If your opponent is deliberately not playing a Pokemon with an ability that they want to play because they're trying to slow you down, that's a win for you. Simple as that. Anytime your opponent is deliberately slowing themselves down to try and hurt you, you need to start counting that as a win. That's brilliant. I love it. I like this attack. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect by any stretch of the imagination, because it's not. What I absolutely am saying is that I love this as a deterrent, and I love this as an option for when your opponent plays too many Pokemon with abilities. They play too many Pokemon with abilities, you come in, slow them down, jobs are good, and I like this. But then we've got a second attack coming in here, 2 lightning, 1 colorless, 240 damage, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. Now, here, numbers-wise, it's tricky. Yes, you're getting Pokemon V, and you're easily getting Pokemon V. Like, you're not even that close, you're miles over, jobs are good. But then with V-Star, once you add a choice belt, you're hitting 270. It's not quite enough. It'll be enough for some of them, but we go up to 280, so 270's not quite enough. We don't like it as much as we could. And then with VMAXs, you're a mile away, so you use Hawlucha, but then you're up to 330, that's assuming a choice belt and a Hawlucha, and 330 is enough to get some of them, but they go up to 340, so you're 10 away from getting the top level V-Star with a choice belt, and you're 10 away from getting VMAXs, the top level of them, with a choice belt and a Hawlucha, and it's one of those, man, so close situations. I like it, but it is a little bit awkward. You do have to discard 2 energy, but if you're using Flaffy, it'll be absolutely fine. Moving on to Zeraora V-Star, we have 270, so again, you're 10 away from the top level. Zeraora VMAX will be hunting Zeraora V-Star. And we do have 3 retreats here. Not entirely sure why there's 2 retreat on the VMAX and 0 retreat on the V-Star. Doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me, but never mind. It's awesome. I like having 3 retreats. And what we've got here is free energy, 190, you may discard a stadium in play. And like we said with the V, 190 once you had a choice about KO's Pokemon V, and that's quite nice. Instant KO on Pokemon V, jobs are good. And you get to discard a stadium in play, which is nice. You don't have to. The you may is actually really, really important here, because if it forced you to discard a stadium, that would be a bad thing. We don't want to be forced to discard stadiums, because we might play our own stadium that we really like. We might have a Path to the Peak in play trying to stop our opponent's abilities, and if we're forced to discard Path to the Peak, that will reactivate our opponent's abilities, and that's a bad thing. So here we've got an optional get rid of stadium, and that's perfect and brilliant, and I love it. So yeah, free energy, KO Pokemon V, get rid of stadium, sounds good to me. And then the final attack from all 3 Zeraora, 3 lightning, 1 colorless, and this is your V-Star power, and this kind of annoys me, right? Because your V-Star power is once per game any kind of V-Star power. So what I'm basically doing here is putting a 4th energy on that I can only use for this, and then it's kind of gone, which is annoying. You do have to discard energy for the VMAX, but not for the V-Star. So I'm basically just attaching a 4th energy for this one attack and then not using it again. Boo, etc. However, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon 4 times. You can choose the same Pokemon more than once. For each time you choose a Pokemon, deal 60 damage to it. Not affected by weakness and resistance. This is cool. You can do 60 damage to 4 different Pokemon. You can do 240 to the same Pokemon. This is actually extremely reminiscent of Hoopa GX. Hoopa GX was 30 damage 6 times. This is 60 damage 4 times, which you will note is more damage overall. Less spreading potential, but more damage overall. And this is clearly really good. It's going to be very dependent on where you are in the game and what's going on and all of that stuff. But you know, you can do 180 to KO a Bench Luminion, while then doing 60 to KO an evolving Pokemon. Or once you've done a bunch of damage, you get a bunch of Pokemon near to being KO'd, you can finish them all off, but if one needs 60 to be KO'd, but one needs 120, you can totally do that with another 60 left over. It's options. It's a weird kind of attack, and it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be in the best situation. You know, there's going to be times where you look at this and you go, it's just not good enough. Like, this combination is not going to actually work, and that's going to suck, right? But there are going to be plenty of times where this is just enough. Where this is going to take multiple KOs in one go, and that is going to be awesome. I really like this. I don't know if it's something you can rely on. I don't think it's something you build your deck around, but I love having the option. I should also mention at this stage that Zeraora VMAX and Zeraora VSTAR have different names, so you can play up to 4 of each, in addition to your 4 Zeraora V. All those 3 Pokemon have different names, so you absolutely can build a deck that uses both of them. I actually kind of like this. I like that both the V and the V-Star can KO Pokemon V of a choice bout. I like that the VMAX keeps your opponent's abilities in check. I like the flat 240, although it will sometimes be 10 damage short, you have been warned, on the VMAX. And I like having that V-Star power in the back for when you need to do lots of damage to lots of different Pokemon. There's a cool combination going on here. I'm going to give this whole mess 4 Wassies. I think we've got enough options to be a little bit excited. Plus, you've now got the V that can evolve into either the VMAX or the V-Star. I think people are going to play around with this, and I think it's going to be very, very fun. Oh, and I should mention there is actually a new tool card here as well. It's found in this deck and the Deoxys deck. It's Camo Poncho, and it is literally a tool card that you only use for V-Star and VMAX, which prevents effects of supporter cards done to that Pokemon. Which is going to stop energy denial and all of that, but it basically stops boss's orders. Like, there's other things you're going to stop, special conditions, energy removal, stuff along those lines, but it's mostly here for boss's orders. You can whack this on your Pokemon and boss's orders won't drag you up. That's actually really too good for VMAX and V-Star. Although I do think there are better targets for that particular tool, because I do think, as I've explained in this video, Zeraora wants Choice Belt. But for now, I want to know what you think about all this good stuff, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.